Howdy, folks. I'm Doctor McFarland. It is Tuesday at 4 o'clock, 4:04. Who's counting anyway? And we're going to do a fun live stream today, just talking about all things gear. So come on in, ask your questions, leave your comments, and we will talk about some recent events that happened over the last week. And maybe I'll play guitar or something. I'm not sure. So what we got going on is even more ways to add effects to a guitar rig. And that means Fractal released the VP4, which is a virtual pedal board. And that gives you 4 effects at once per preset. I really hadn't looked at it a whole lot. Let's go ahead and go to the website here. Let's just see what happens. I have recently changed my setup just slightly to accommodate a nice Allen & Heath SQ5 mixing board here in front of me. But that means I don't have my extra monitor that I can like move things around. So it's kind of interesting dealing with the Ecamm Live software, and which I will actually hide this screen here. And just all the stuff. So it's interesting trying to get all this on the screen. But I do need to set up my other monitor so I can have 2 different monitors and, move things around. So anyway, let's go to fractalaudio.com. If I can even see, because my other stuff is in the way. Let's just search for it. VP4. The virtual pedal board, compact multi-effects. Okay, so what we got here is this. Okay. That looks halfway decent. All right, so $6.99, not horrible. But let me go grab something else real fast. Okay, so this right here is a Line 6 HX Effects. This came out around 2017, 18, somewhere around there. And this literally stopped me from putting together a pedal board full of pedals a long time ago. And then after I saw this, the Headrush came out, and it had a touchscreen. It had Pete Thorne demoing it, which he made it sound amazing, and it still sounds amazing. And, but yeah, this actually has 8 blocks on it that you can fill up with all kinds of stuff. And it does not have amps and cabs. I would kind of wish it did in this form factor. That'd be pretty sweet, I would think. And actually, this would give you a very similar option. I guess it's very similar to like the Pod Go, to where you're very limited on what you can actually add. And even if they just had an amp and a cab in the middle with 4 blocks before and 4 blocks after, that would technically be 10. But then they would give you like this Kemper style workflow to where you just had, 1 preset with a certain amount of blocks before and after the amp and cab. And really that'd be plenty for what I would do. And this would be a very nice small unit. The VP4, I mean, it is cool. I honestly, if I could take all the Fractal stuff and wrap it into the Fractal AX8, which I really like that form factor, and it really wasn't super big. It had plenty of switches on there. It had the F1 and F2 switches. It had a tap tempo thing. Actually, I think it had F3 foot switches on the far right. Then it had your 8 foot switches in the middle, and that allowed you to choose different presets and scenes. And I thought it was a pretty cool unit. If they would have had the new FM series type options on the AX8, that would have been pretty sweet, because that would have give you the gapless switching and some other things. Maybe a better screen, because that green LED screen, very similar to what's on the Kemper right now, is it's just kind of hard to see. So having the updated screen and the gapless switching, that would have made the AX8 really amazing. And do you really need the foot switches that come on the FM series on the AX8? No, I don't think so. But it's interesting that we just have a virtual pedal board, and they give you 4 effects at a time. So let's kind of go down here and see what else what the options are anyway. So the VP4 virtual pedal board is a compact floor-based multi-effect processor, provides 4 simultaneous effects with a user-friendly experience inspired by traditional guitar pedals. The effects are based on the award-winning XFX3, which is great because there's some great effects in there, and include hundreds of classic stomp box and studio effect models, including drives, delays, reverbs, choruses, flangers, phasers, pitch, plex, EQs. There's just all the stuff. So it says max out your mauler. The VP4 is designed to work seamlessly with a traditional amplifier, and also excels at providing pre or post effects with any mauler. Okay, so just for example, if you liked an HX Stomp, I know this is not HX Stomp, but if you like the size of an HX Stomp, then you could easily add the VP4 pre or post, because it has an effects loop on the back. And that would give you some drives in the front, some delays and reverbs after your amp, and whatever else comes on the other unit anyway. And that would be pretty cool. Now you can choose your setup and still enjoy Fractal Audio's effects, vetted by the world's greatest guitar heroes. One more thing. I'm not sure where it is right this second, but you could connect it to a Blue Guitar Amp 1, which is right over here. That would be pretty cool. You could connect it to one of the new Quilter Direct Amp options that basically has 2 channels in it, and it has an effects loop, so you could do some pre and post things with that. That would be pretty good. 4 foot switches, classic on-off switches, makes it easy and intuitive to use the VP4 like 4 traditional pedals. Meanwhile, the factory default gig mode switching system places presets, scenes, effects, channels, tuner, and tap tempo right at your feet. So there's a gig mode. That's pretty cool. I'm just kind of reading up on this because I hadn't done it yet, and I know it got released last week, maybe last Tuesday or Wednesday. But it does have 104 presets, expression pedal compatibility, accurate tuner, because everyone doesn't want a non-accurate tuner, right? Flexible connectivity, mono stereo analog I/O with unity gain and ultra low noise floor. For cable method mode, allows you to divide effects in front of your amp and then its loop, plus buffered analog bypass. Beyond the basics, for those who want to go beyond a basic pedal board, the VP4 supports scenes, channels, modifiers, and more for a highly customizable experience. So with that said, even though it only has 4 effects, the drive block, for instance, in a Fractal does have 4 channels that you can load up. So depending on what you're doing and how many scenes you have created, you could have one drive block with literally 4 different drive sounds in there, and you can switch your scenes or presets with that. If this has, let's keep reading here. If it has gapless switching between all that, that would be pretty cool. Beyond the basics for those, okay. VP4 Edit, customize your VP4 with VP4 Edit, a free companion, yada, 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 yada. Okay, so what we need to go is, let's go to more. I'm looking for the manual for this thing. Where's the manual? Let's see. Let's find a manual for this. Something. Anything. Give me something. So there's an inputs, outputs, pedal. Okay, there's not an actual loop on the Fractal itself. Interesting. It does have a SPDIF in and out. It's got MIDI in and out. So you can either control other gear with MIDI or control the VP4 with MIDI. Okay. It's strange that there's no... I don't know where to find the manual. That's dumb. Alright, let's go back here. Now shipping. Alright, I need to find a manual, folks. Where is it? Gift certificates, mud, stickers, warranty. Go back. There should be a downloads thing somewhere. Well, this is strange. Xload. Cabs. More. Alright, well, I can't find the manual. Unless I go here and type in Fractal VP4 manual, because that would be good for... See, there's a downloads, but where was that? Okay, we were on a totally different part of the site, apparently. I don't know how all that works, but... Okay, we're going to download the manual and check it out. Alright, here's the owner's manual. I am looking for anything that says spillover. Okay, that's good. Spillover allows delay and reverb tails to ring out when an effect is bypassed or you change scenes or presets. This section covers how to set up spillover in different scenarios. So really, any kind of guitar setup I've had over the years, I've always wanted spillover. And for example, the Boss ES8 allowed you to have two parallel paths, between two different loops or whatever it was. So that meant that if you had two delays and one reverb, well, you'd have to choose two of them to have spillover on, and then the third one just couldn't have spillover. Okay, you can have spillover within a preset using scenes on the HX style on the Line 6 stuff. You can have spillover on the head rush, going between scenes and rigs, which a rig is really just a preset. The Kemper has spillover across everything. The Tonemaster Pro has spillover and gapless switching across all presets and whatever configurations it can currently have. So most units these days can have spillover. And it's not until the last year or so that Fractal added the gapless switching to all their FM units. So as long as this can do that, then that would be pretty sweet. So for tails that ring out when a block is bypassed, set the block's bypass mode to mute effects in. Now this is hilarious because a lot of people, they'll search YouTube for like how to get spillover on a Fractal unit, and they'll go watch 5 videos trying to answer the question. But honestly, the best way to find out about a company and about its products is by reading the effing manual. Just RTFM, man. Just read the manual. Okay, you'll learn a lot. And that's how I've learned about everything I've ever had. It's just by reading the manual first, and then, yes, I go make videos on that for all you lazy people that don't want to read the manual. But the manual is there at your disposal, and it is a very light read, and it can be way more fun than reading a a romantic novel sometimes. So try it out. You might like it. So mute effects in. This is the default setting for most time-based effects. Okay, that's good to know. When switching channels, spillover will continue when you change an effect's channel. But be aware that different channels use the same memory, so changes to parameters like time, size, type, time, or size may cause a sweep effect in the tail. To ensure perfect spillover, use multiple blocks of the same type instead of changing channels. So that is definitely true for delays and reverbs. It doesn't matter as much for your amps and drive blocks, because when you have an amp that switches over to another amp, there's nothing really to spill over. So you're not hearing that weird effect. Same with the drive blocks as well. But any kind of delay and reverb, you definitely want to have at least two different instances. So like 2 delays or 2 reverbs or whatever. And I am assuming that maybe these just had, let's just say for example, I would want on this VP4, I want one drive block that can give me 4 different channels. I would want a tremolo, I would want a delay, and I'd want a reverb. Okay? Let's just say, for example, that on another song, I really, really need to have at least 2 reverbs, because I want to have an always on reverb, kind of like that short, 1 to 2 milliseconds kind of thing. Not milliseconds, but like 1 to 2 seconds. And then have a another reverb that has a way longer tail, maybe more ambient sounding. So that way when I turn on that reverb, then I bypass that reverb block. All those tails keep going, and I still have my original reverb intact. Still just playing along and doing all the stuff. So, very interesting things here. Okay, so when switching scenes, since scenes simply bypass or engage blocks and potentially change their channels, see the 2 entries above to ensure perfect spillover. Okay, so in a scene on a fractal unit, you can't actually change the parameters unless you use some kind of modifier or controller. And that's very similar to how the headrush works, really. On a headrush, there are block presets that you can change between, but you will hear a small gap when you change those due to it having to reload the block to its new sound. But the Helix has scene parameters that simply just move the parameters back and forth to its new settings, so you don't hear a gap with that. ToneMaster Pro allows you to change parameters within a block or within an effect block, which is great. The Kemper has the morph option, which essentially says, okay, we got one sound, but we can allow you to change any one of those controls on that block, or slot, whatever you want to call it, to any other setting, and then you can morph between those 2 settings, or you can morph between all the different blocks within a Kemper and just have them do whatever. So on a fractal, it can be done, but it is a little harder to do without having to use modifiers and controllers. So that's honestly why I've sold all my fractal stuff. I mean, it does sound really good, but the ease of use factor in a fractal is just not there, and you have to learn a lot about all the ins and outs to even make it do anything you want, especially all this more complicated stuff. So other units definitely allow you to do more complicated things easier, but Fractal is not that way. So if you're wanting to get into the Fractal world, I mean, you can, but you have to be prepared to really dive deep and learn everything you can about it, because it's not going to just be opening up the box, take it out, turn it on, and now you're just playing all these amazing stuff. You're going to have to dive into the manual. You're going to have to watch some videos. And if you have a gig that night, then good luck. Okay. Good luck, my friend. So spillover between presets is more involved. First, go to Setup, Global Settings, and set the spillover parameter to determine whether delay, and reverb are all when spill over when switching presets. Okay, so it sounds like they've added the gapless switching to this, which is great. You must also ensure that not so much. You must also ensure that the exact same blocks exist in each preset you switch between. These blocks must be the same block type and number. Delay 1 spills over only on delay 1, delay 2 only to delay 2. Okay, I'm not seeing anything really about gapless switching in here. Because all this stuff was true about the gapless before about the FM units before they added gapless switching. So, yeah. Let's keep going here. Reset tools. Now for $700, if this unit had gapless switching between all presets and of course scenes, that would be pretty sick. That would. Setting up scenes. I'm just learning. I'm just reading about some stuff here. Yeah. Why does editing effect change every scene? It doesn't have to, but unless you understand and use channels, it will. If you want an effect to have different settings in different scenes, you'll need to set it to a different channel. So there you go. Otherwise, you can use modifiers. Modifiers allow remote control and automation. On the VP4, a modifier applies to all channels of the block where it is created. For example, if you assign an expression pedal to control the mix in one channel, that pedal will also control the mix in every other channel. Yeah, it's not even worth my time. I really honestly tried Fractal. I really did. I bought 2 FM9s. I bought 2 FM3s. I either returned one or traded them or sold them off. Then I had one XFX 3 with the FC12 foot switch. And after all that, I basically just used one preset that had all the sounds I wanted in it. And then I was like, all right, well, there's my one preset. What am I going to do now? And I got bored. I'm like, no, I'm not going to go any deeper than this. Nor am I going to have $2,500 wrapped up in just one single preset. It's not worth it to me. So I just sold it all off. Just sold it all. It's all gone. And I'm off to greener pastures. So, creating a modifier. Yeah, I mean, you can learn about all this stuff. There's auto-engage things, which is fun. But man, it's so much work just to do like little things. Just little things. And that's really the issue with Fractal is they allow you to go so deep that to do even simple stuff is just not that simple. All right, well, congratulations to everyone who bought that's all, folks. That bought a VP4. I'm happy for you. That's great. But yeah, it's just not going to be for me. Not going to be for me. I'm going to plug in my quilter over here and just play some guitar for a bit. But in the meantime, I want you guys to ask me some questions because I'm ready to answer some questions. Let me turn this off. Take off my leash. Take off my leash, yeah. All right, now, what's happening here? So this is the Quilter Aviator Cub, and it does have a signal out. So it has a line out and a headphone out, and you can actually control the amount of signal, which is called the signal volume, go into an interface or to a front of house or a mixer, whatever it is. It does have a effects loop on it with a reverb. And I need to clean this thing a little bit here. Treble, middle, bass, limiter, all that stuff. So let's see which guitar I'm going to play. What am I going to play? Let's do the Kiesel Delos for now. And so this is going to be with the speaker up. Joel, I never have, man. Not yet. I'm not a great dancer, though, so I'm not sure if he really wanted to do that or not. Let me check my levels. Yes, I'm good on my levels. I'm good on my levels. So, I am using the Mix 1 on this board to send to my live stream, which is the Ecamm Live software. And let me get this pick here. Okay. Now, this amp sounds really good. It's just a nice, clean tone. You can drive it a little bit. So we do have a gain on here. Let's turn the gain up pretty high. See what that does. Okay, so if we kind of back that off a bit. Sounds good. Let's go to the bridge pickup. Now, if I wanted to, I could take a small board, have the HX effects on it, which would sound great. And then, just have a drive, a few drives, few delays, few reverbs, maybe a tremolo, and add my expression pedal to it. And this would be a pretty good little setup for jamming and just whatever. And just use the quilter as my amp. And this quilter is very, very lightweight. It's definitely less than 20 pounds. So, and for what I do, just playing here at the house and going to the occasional jam night with some friends, this would be a pretty good little setup here. So. Did I have a breakthrough moment when learning how to riff? Well, I've been playing since 1994. And it's now 2024. So that means I've been playing for 30 stinking years. And any breakthrough moments? I think it's a matter of learning a language. You get so comfortable with the language that you just naturally do certain stuff, or you just naturally speak a certain way. That doesn't mean that you can't add words to your vocabulary, i.e. riffs or licks or whatever you want to call these musical ideas to your vocabulary, which you totally can. Let's see what I'm going to do here. I'm going to select this, and I'm going to turn on the compressor a little bit. Checked 1, 2, check. Yeah. I'm going to compress my voice a little bit here. So I was teaching my students yesterday. I do teach guitar lessons. I've been doing it for about 15 or so years. Pretty long time. And like yesterday, we learned about the pentatonic scale. We learned how to apply that up and down the neck in different shapes. And at that point, your ears start getting in tune to what is possible with those 5 notes. And then if you go off and learn like Amazing Grace, which is a 5-note melody, if you learn, like most pop songs nowadays are 5-note melodies. I mean, they just keep it really, really simple. So I think learning songs and seeing how all these licks are played in context of a song is pretty important, and that allows you to kind of stretch and expand your knowledge on certain things. And yeah, so it's just, it's just options. I'm going to turn down my mic pre a little bit here. Maybe not. Maybe I'll turn it back up. So, but with all that said, I'm mainly a blues rock player. I mean, if I'm going to go for a solo, I'm going to do like, maybe do a little bend, that kind of stuff. Keep it real simple. Stuff like that. So, like for example, we were learning "Take Me Out." Take me out. We were learning that song. So the beginning of it is like, which is cool. So I was showing him that lick, and because he just picked the song, he's like, "Hey, let's learn this song." So I listened to it. It's like, "All right, cool, we can do that." And what's interesting is that little lick right there is out of the second box that we normally play after we learn the first box, which is this. I'll play it in E here. Right, but then the second box is G A. B, D, E, G, A, B, D, E, G, A, right? So we got that. And it's also known as the B.B. King box because you like playing out of that upper register of this box a lot, Yeah. All kinds of stuff. So I don't know if any of that helps you or not, but I think it's just getting comfortable with certain songs and certain genres. And then as you expand your knowledge, you just get more comfortable with the other things that you add on to what you're doing. So how do you coach a student that kind of gets stuck doing the same thing over and over? Honestly, just learning Just learn something else. You know, if you're stuck in a box, like a pentatonic box, so it's essentially like saying I only say certain phrases all day when I talk, right? But as you start learning other other worldviews, other people, other ways of doing things, you just start adding other other things to your vocabulary. And I'm sorry, I mean, music is a language, so I'm always relating it back to English, Spanish, German, French, you know, just normal languages that we speak every day. There's a computer language that we all had to learn when we're typing and knowing how to learn or learning how to use computers. So, so at some point, the actual instrument itself can be a crutch because you're only thinking of music in a way that applies to a 6-string instrument with 22 to 24 frets. If you can take that same melody and learn how to play it on other parts of the fretboard or even on another instrument, it'll help your brain to kind of realize, okay, these are just the notes I'm playing, regardless of where they show up or how they show up on another instrument. You could either try singing a melody and seeing how singing the melody can help kind of expand what's possible. Because I've always heard, and a lot of people have said this, that the best way to write a solo is to actually sing it. Because now you're only thinking about just purely, you're just purely thinking about the melody and not how to actually do it on the instrument itself. So like just take your phone, for example, open up the voice memo app and just, play the music in the background and then try to sing something over that. Then once you found something cool that works for that solo section, or maybe you're working on a vocal melody or something, now try to transpose that, not transpose, but try to, implement that on the instrument of choice. That could be saxophone, trombone, clarinet, guitar, mandolin. I mean, just literally anything else. And I would say getting out of the normal of doing those kind of things can help you not be stuck in a rut as much as you normally would be, maybe. Hope that helps. It's a lot. It's a lot going on there. Are you just going through the motions? Come on. That's a fun name for, I guess it's the YouTube channel. Possibly. I don't know. I came back from New York and my really nice Canon 90D camera over here won't turn on. I'm not quite sure what's going on with it either. So, I need to test my battery, test my cable and all the other stuff and see why that's not showing up. So that's why I'm using the little Logitech Brio here in front of me. It looks halfway decent, so. All right, so music is a language for sure. How is that new fractal? Well, this is one of many fractals I've bought over the last few months, which is nice. But let me switch it out to another one because I can, I guess. So there's a span of a few weeks where I saw some really good deals on some fractals, and I was like, hey, I like that. So I jumped on it, and there we are. Turn that back down. So turn down the gain a little bit. So this one is a Lyra model. It's kind of like a, basically this horn on the bottom is a little more offset than a normal Strat. Though I guess the top part is more Stratty than anything. But it does have a little bit of curl in the neck or in the fretboard. Definitely has a nice curl on the top. And then just a normal sunset burst, essentially. And what I like about it is instead of the other Fractals have a 5-way switch, even though it has 2 humbuckers, and it essentially gives you neck, then a split coil with the neck, and then the middle, which is a combination of the split coil of both neck and bridge. And then you got the split coil bridge, and then you would have the full humbucker bridge. But with this one, it has a 3-way switch, and you can pull up on the tone knob to split the coil of both pickups. So this essentially gives me a really cool Les Paul-ish, even though it's a bolt-on neck. It does give me that Les Paul style switching. So I could have full humbucker on the bridge, middle, and neck, and then I can pull it up, and it really gives me that Telecaster kind of sound. So let's go through some options here. Here's the bridge pickup. Okay, here's the middle position. Okay, here's the neck. Okay, then if I pull up the tone knob, I get my split coil. And then middle. I like this sound a lot. And it's honestly that Stratty position 2, position 4 kind of sound, which is great. And then you got the split neck. So this one guitar gives me that Fendery kind of feel, but it also gives me the Les Paul style humbucker tones, but also giving me some Tele and Stratty type tones. So I know it doesn't fully do all those things all at once, but it gets me close enough when I'm recording and just jamming and stuff. So it's a really cool guitar. I like it a lot. Let's crank up some gain here. Yeah, I like it. So it's a great feeling neck. I love it a lot. Feels good. It feels good. All right, guys, we got about 12 minutes left. So let's ask some questions here if you want to. But in the meantime, let's actually. Can I not move this? Weird. Okay. What we're going to do, let's open up Live Tracks real fast. And I'm going to show you a cool setup that I've done. Yeah, there we go. All right, so check this out. Check it out. Yeah. All right, so this is a little experiment that I'm performing for a recording session I'm going to have here pretty soon. So back here is my F Note 5 with an extra tom and an extra cymbal. It's a really good feeling and sounding electronic kit, but it doesn't have a lot of ambience to it. So what I'm actually doing is I'm using the kit to trigger Superior Drummer 3. And this is actually an Easy Drummer drum kit that is being hosted within Superior Drummer. Because essentially, a Superior Drummer is the big daddy of Easy Drummer. And it has more output options, more routing options. You can add plugins. You can do all the stuff. So, pretty cool. But what I have here is I have my PreSonus fader port. And I might need to close this real fast. Let's see, let's close it real fast. Then let me reopen. So LiveTracks is a very bare bones software based on Ardour and Mixbus. And this is a Harrison product, Harrison Audio product. Andrew, yes, I will be going to NAMM, I think. Pretty sure. Harrison will have a booth at the NAMM show, and I do not know how the new Fractal is. I literally just read the manual and gave my thoughts on all of it. So, yeah. Okay. All right, so here's some cool drum sounds for you guys. I'm going to turn down the guitar and then start building out each track one by one. Okay, so we got kick, snare, overhead right, overhead left, toms, hi-hat, and then ambience. And then we have a crunch channel, which I don't think I'm actually going to use. I'm just going to stick with the ambient sound. So let's play. Let me go stereo out here. There we go. All right, so if I bring my faders down, you don't hear anything, right? Here is my drum ambient sound. Just a nice room sound there. Okay, here's the kick and snare. Sounds really good. Okay, here's the drum overheads. I do have these panned hard left and right, so they sound good in that mix. Okay, here are some toms, which currently don't have any bleed in them. I'm going to change that a little bit. So, okay, so just nice dry toms there. And then let's just make a nice little mix of the kit. So let's go back to the beginning. And I'll bring in the guitar as well. Actually, I'm just going to use these drums as a little backing track. Okay, so I can make this as wet or as much room sound as I want. This sounds pretty good. All right, so let's plug in the guitar. Yeah. And let's do some jamming with some drums, shall we? Ba-da. Ba-ba-ba-da-ba. And another thing, Joel, you always want to practice with the metronome or some kind of drum loop, because that really helps you with your timing and make sure you're just playing in the pocket the best you can. What am I doing? Okay, here's the guitar of the other guy that was playing with me. He had a acoustic guitar plugged straight into my Toolmaster Pro, so it does sound a little piezo-y, but it's, you know, it's fine. Hey, I just broke a string. Great. Let me switch that out. Wow. Wow. Let's do this one. I just broke a string. Yeah. I just broke a string. Whoa. I just broke a string. Yeah. It's my first time. We kind of ended weird there. But it's fine. So anyway, there's some cool drums that were triggered from my MIDI drum kit back there, which does have acoustic sounds on it, but it was neat that I figured out that you could trigger the drums, in Superior Drummer, then have the outputs of Superior Drummer back through the board in front of me. Then those are being recorded as actual audio inputs going into a recording software like LiveTracks or any other software that you have. Literally like Pro Tools, Studio One, Logic, Reaper, Cubase, Numendo. I mean, just anything you can capture audio with, just use it and it'll work. So. Okay, folks, so let me close this down so I can actually see what I'm doing. And so yeah, that's kind of been what I've been working on here lately, getting ready for a few recording sessions coming up, a few different bands, and then I have some number charts to write for this one songwriter that wants to start working with me. And basically, he has just sent me a basic recording that he did on his phone. And I'm going to take that, write a chart, make sure we got the arrangement down. I'll lay down some drums and some bass and guitar, and then he can do some vocal stuff. And then maybe, I can have a friend lay down some piano, maybe some background vocals, just whatever. Then we can mix it, and then we'll have a song that he can release to all his friends and family and fans around the world. So, whatever. So yeah, I mean, that's what I do these days. I'm a full-time Harrison Audio employee. I'm a part-time audio engineer, part-time YouTuber, part-time insurance salesman, really full-time dad and husband, and maybe a very part-time basketball player, just shooting around in my driveway, because I do love playing basketball. It's really fun. And I'm definitely now a full-time. I'm in full-time mode of not buying any more guitars. I'm doing that full-time now. I do not buy guitars full-time. It's just I can't do it anymore. I don't have enough money or enough credit cards to pay for more. So. But essentially, this Kiesel right here, this is my PRS killer. It definitely has that PRS kind of vibe to it. I have seen a recent picture where they had this exact same guitar, except it had the chrome covers, and it had a very nice rosewood fretboard on it. And I was like, maybe I should have got rosewood fretboard instead of this kind of maple thing going on. I don't know. It's just options. Well, this is still really very pretty, and it's a very cool guitar. But there's something very warm and inviting about the look of that Kiesel CT6 with the rosewood fretboard on it. I was like, yeah, that's an option for another day and another dollar. So I'm a little out of tune on this one. All right, so it's now 5:04. I've been live streaming for about an hour. Actually, I got about 30 seconds left. So thank you for Andrew, Joel, going through the motions, whatever his name is. Thanks, guys, for commenting. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below. Yeah, maple all day. Yeah, I mean, this is a nice maple fretboard for sure. It's cool. I do have affiliate links in the description of all my videos. If you're going to shop anywhere online, I do prefer it to be Zounds.com. They do give me a nice commission when things are sold through my link. And that does help go to support the channel. I also have Sweetwater or Amazon if you're looking for anything specific that Zounds doesn't actually have. which is pretty rare these days. I mean, Zales covers or carries a lot of different brands. But anyway, I've also had quite a few sales on my website here lately. The guys buying up some HTS rigs, some Headrush clones, and so I'm very appreciative about that. Thank you very much. And that helps me put some money in my whole life insurance policy, which is helping me grow retirement money that one day I may retire like the rest of the world. Who knows what's going to happen in the future? We never know. I could die tomorrow, and you're welcome for all the knowledge that I've shared. So hopefully that doesn't happen, though. I don't want to die tomorrow, but anything could happen. You just never know. So love your wife, love your kids, love your friends and family, because you just never know. You never know what's going to be your time. Why am I ending on such a sad note? I have no idea. But yeah, appreciate everyone for watching and subscribing and interacting with my videos. And if you want to help support, then there are affiliate links and products on my website. So you guys have a great rest of your day and a great rest of your week. And I will see you next time. Keep rocking.